The destruction of the Dominion flagship sent shockwaves through the crystal entities. Without their central command, the remaining ships moved erratically, some fleeing the system while others continued to fight with no coordination. 3 days after the battle, Admiral Carter arrived with Earth's reserve fleet, 20 ships armed with the same modified weapons. They made quick work of the confused Dominion forces still in the system. "We've driven them out," Admiral Carter announced at the command center. "The Arcadian system is free." Cheers erupted from both humans and Arcadians. After generations of war, peace had finally come to this distant world. In the weeks that followed, Arcadian survivors emerged from hiding places across their star system. Many had lived in underground shelters or remote outposts, afraid to communicate for fear of drawing the Dominion's attention. A formal ceremony took place on the planet's surface, in what had once been the capital city. Though the buildings lay in ruins, the spirit of the Arcadian people remained strong. Kirax stood before the gathered crowd, his blue skin gleaming in the sunlight. Beside him stood Commander Shepard, Admiral Carter, and the other human leaders. "For too long, we thought we were alone in this universe," Kirax said. "We believed our people would fade into memory, with no one to tell our story. But then Earth answered our call." He turned to the human representatives. "Today we forge a bond between our worlds. Though we are separated by the vastness of space, we are united in spirit." Admiral Carter stepped forward. "The people of Earth extend our hand in friendship. What began as a rescue mission has become something more, the first alliance between our worlds." The ceremony concluded with the planting of an Arcadian tree. Its blue leaves rustled in the wind, a symbol of new life in a world that had seen so much death. Back on the Unity, Commander Shepard looked out at the Arcadian planet below. Parts of it still showed the scars of war, but already work had begun to heal the land. "What happens now?" asked Dr. Hayes, joining him at the viewport. "We helped them rebuild," Shepard replied, "and we learned from each other." The knowledge gained from the encounter had already accelerated human technology. Engineers were studying the Arcadians' advanced power systems. Scientists were exploring new medical treatments based on Arcadian biology. And military experts were planning Earth's first interstellar defense network, preparing for the day when the Dominion might return. "Do you think they'll come to Earth someday?" Dr. Hayes asked. "Maybe," Shepard said, "but we'll be ready if they do." 6 months after the final battle, most of the human fleet prepared to return home. Some would stay behind to continue working with the Arcadians, but Shepard and his original crew had been away from Earth for over a year. As the Unity and its sister ships left orbit, Kirax sent one last message. "Your fire saved our world. We will not forget." The journey home was filled with anticipation. The crew spoke of family reunions, favorite foods, and the simple joy of feeling Earth's gravity again. But they also knew they were returning to a changed world, a planet that now looked to the stars with new understanding. On the last night before reaching Earth, Olivia Garcia approached Commander Shepard with a concerned look. "Sir, I've been monitoring deep space communications," she said quietly. "There's something you should hear." She played a recording, a faint signal from beyond the borders of known space. The language was unknown, but the intent seemed clear. "The humans have revealed themselves," Shepard translated, "based on what they'd learned about interstellar communications. Adjust our plans accordingly." New allies had been found, but new enemies might be watching too. Humanity had announced its presence to the galaxy with fire. The response was yet to come. As Earth appeared on their view screens, blue and beautiful against the blackness of space, Commander Shepard knew one thing for certain. This was not the end of the story, but merely the first chapter. 1 month after the successful raid, the combined human and Arcadian forces prepared for their boldest move yet. Intelligence gathered from rescued prisoners revealed that the Dominion's main fleet was led by a massive command ship. If they could destroy it, the remaining Dominion forces would be thrown into chaos. "Their command structure is highly centralized," explained Ryan Brooks, pointing to a holographic model of the Crystal flagship. The smaller entities take orders directly from the largest one. Without it, they'll lose coordination. Commander Shepard studied the model. So we need to take out the big one. The problem is getting close enough. That's where we come in, said Maria Rodriguez, the Unity's chief pilot. My fighter squadron can slip past their outer defenses if the main fleet keeps them busy. The plan was risky but had potential. The human fleet would position itself as bait, drawing out the Dominion flagship. Meanwhile, Rodriguez would lead a small fighter squadron through a gap in their defenses. Their target, the flagship's central core. On the day of the battle, tension filled the air. Human and Arcadian crews made final preparations. Some wrote messages to loved ones back home, knowing they might not return. Ready for this? Shepard asked Rodriguez as she prepared to board her fighter. She nodded, pulling on her flight helmet. Born ready, sir. The human fleet moved into position near the planet's largest moon. As expected, the Dominion responded, their crystalline ships emerging from behind the planet like a swarm of deadly insects. At the center of their formation was the flagship, twice the size of any other vessel. All ships, battle positions, Shepard ordered. Remember the plan. Keep their attention on us, not on the fighter squadron. The space between the fleets lit up with weapon fire. Blue energy beams from the human ships struck the crystal vessels, while the Dominion responded with red pulses that shook the human fleet when they hit. Under the cover of the main battle, Rodriguez led her 12 fighters along the planned route. They flew close to the moon's surface, using its gravity to slingshot them toward the Dominion's flank. Stay tight, she instructed her pilots. We only get one shot at this. On the ground, Lieutenant Chris Davis led a team to a strategic position on the moon. They carried a powerful signal jammer designed to disrupt the Dominion's communications at a crucial moment. Jammer in position, Davis reported. Ready to activate on your command. The battle above intensified. The Hope took a direct hit to its engines, leaving it drifting. The Defender moved to protect it, its shield straining under repeated attacks. Now, Lieutenant, Shepard ordered. Activate the jammer. Davis's team switched on the device. Instantly, the Dominion ship's movements became erratic as their communication was disrupted. Fighter Squadron, you have your window, Shepard called. Go. Rodriguez led her team straight toward the Dominion flagship. Its defenses were temporarily confused by the jamming signal, giving them the opening they needed. Target in sight, she reported. Beginning attack run. The fighters swooped toward the massive crystal ship, firing their specialized weapons at its central section. The outer crystal layers cracked under the assault, but the core remained protected. Suddenly, warning signals blared throughout the human fleet. The Dominion flagship was charging a massive weapon, a planet cracker capable of destroying the moon base in one shot. All units, fall back, Shepard ordered. They're about to fire the big gun. Rodriguez ignored the order. We're too close. One more pass, and we can hit the core. Engineer Sam Taylor's voice came over the comm from one of the fighters. Commander, I can get closer than the fighters. I need manual control of my ship. What are you planning, Taylor? Shepard demanded. Their weapon has to be exposed to fire, Taylor replied calmly. When it opens, I can get inside and detonate my reactor core. It should be enough to set off a chain reaction. Before Shepard could respond, Taylor's fighter broke formation, accelerating directly toward the Dominion flagship's opening weapon port. It's been an honor, Commander, were Taylor's last words before his signal went static. A blinding flash erupted from the heart of the Dominion flagship. When it faded, the massive crystal ship was breaking apart, fragments scattering across space. The battle wasn't over yet, but the tide had turned. 2 weeks after Shepard's message to Earth, the radar systems at the moon base detected something new entering the system. The Arcadians feared more Dominion ships, but Shepard smiled when he saw the readings. Those are ours, he said. Earth sent reinforcements. 2 massive battle carriers entered the system, escorted by smaller fighter craft. They carried advanced weapons, additional troops, and supplies that the original 3 ships couldn't bring. Earth had decided to commit fully to the fight. "Your people came," Kyrax said, his voice filled with wonder. They really came. The new ships landed at the moon base. Admiral Greg Peters stepped out to meet Shepard. "Quite a situation you found yourself in, Commander," the Admiral said, shaking Shepard's hand. "Thank you for coming, sir," Shepard replied. "We couldn't hold out much longer alone." "Well, you're not alone anymore. And we brought some new toys." The Admiral gestured to the crates being unloaded from his ship. Engineer Sam Taylor examined the new weapons with excitement. "These emit exactly the energy frequency Dr. Hayes identified as harmful to the crystals," he explained to the gathered humans and Arcadians. "We can modify all our ships and hand weapons with this technology." Over the next few days, human engineers worked alongside Arcadian technicians to prepare for battle. They modified weapons, repaired damaged ships, and planned their strategy. "The Dominion has a mining operation here," Ryan Brooks said, pointing to a location on the holographic map. "They're extracting the metals they need while holding Arcadian prisoners as forced labor." Kyrax nodded sadly. "Many of my people were captured during the initial invasion. We've tried to rescue them, but our forces were too weak." "Not anymore," said First Sergeant Nicole Wilson, leader of the Marine Combat Team. "My squad can get in there and get your people out." Commander Shepard approved the mission. The plan was simple but dangerous. A small team would infiltrate the mining facility while the main fleet distracted the Dominion ships in orbit. The night before the mission, the base was quiet. Humans and Arcadians prepared in their own ways. Some cleaned their weapons, others prayed, and many simply tried to rest. Engineer Taylor made final adjustments to the modified weapons. "These should cut through their outer shells like butter," he told Wilson as she checked her gear. "Aim for the center mass where their cores are located." At dawn, the attack began. The human fleet, now 5 ships strong, engaged the Dominion vessels in orbit. The battle lit up the sky above the planet. Under cover of the space battle, 3 smaller craft carrying Wilson's Marines slipped through the Dominion's defenses. They landed near the mining facility, hidden by the dust storms common on that part of the planet. "Move fast, stay low," Wilson ordered as her team deployed. The Marines advanced through the rocky terrain, their weapons ready. The mining facility was a massive pit surrounded by crystal structures. Arcadian prisoners worked under the watch of smaller crystal entities that floated above them. "On my mark," Wilson whispered into her comm. 3, 2, 1, mark." The Marines fired their modified weapons. The crystal guards shattered instantly, their cores destroyed by the precisely tuned energy beams. Alarms blared throughout the facility. More crystal guards appeared, but they fell quickly to the human weapons. Wilson led a team to the prisoner areas while others secured their escape route. The Arcadian prisoners looked up in shock at the human rescuers. "We're friends of Kyrax," Wilson explained as she broke their restraints. "We're here to take you home." Above them, the space battle raged on. The human ships, though outnumbered, fought with precision and skill. Their modified weapons tore through the Dominion vessels, targeting the vulnerable cores that Dr. Hayes had identified. By nightfall, the raiding party returned to the moon base with over 200 rescued Arcadians. The Dominion had lost 3 ships and a key mining facility. It wasn't a final victory, but it was something else. Proof that the Dominion could be hurt, that they weren't invincible. As the rescued Arcadians reunited with their families, Kyrax approached Shepard. "Today," he said, "you gave my people something they had lost. Hope." Inside the moon base, Commander Shepard and his team met with Kyrax and the Arcadian leaders. The room was carved from the moon's rock, lit by glowing panels that cast a soft blue light over everyone. "For generations, we fought the crystalline Dominion," Kyrax explained. His voice had a musical quality, though his words were filled with sadness. "They came to our system seeking metals rare to them, but common in our world." Dr. Hayes studied the data the Arcadians shared with her. "These crystals are silicon-based life forms," she told Shepard. They need specific metals to reproduce and grow. They're basically mining your planet to make more of themselves. Kirax nodded. Our scientists discovered this too late. By then, the Dominion had already built massive harvesting ships. When we tried to stop them, they turned their weapons on our cities. The screen showed images of the devastation. Once beautiful cities now lay in ruins. Forests had been stripped away, leaving bare earth. Great holes had been dug into the planet's surface where the Dominion extracted metals. How many of your people survived? Shepard asked. Less than 10,000. Kirax replied. Once, we numbered in the billions. The humans exchanged shocked glances. We had a defense fleet, Kirax continued. For years, we held them back. But 12 years ago, they broke through our lines. That's when we sent the distress signal. We never truly expected anyone to answer. Dr. Hayes continued to study the crystal entities. Commander, I found something interesting. The crystals have a central core that regulates their entire structure. It's like a brain and heart combined, and it's vulnerable to specific frequencies of energy. Can we use that against them? Washington asked. Possibly, she replied. Our weapons would need adjustment, but it could work. Ryan Brooks, the tactical officer, joined them. He had been analyzing the Dominion ships. Their ships have a similar weakness, he reported. They're essentially larger versions of the individual crystals. If we target the central chambers with the right weapons, we might be able to destroy them. Commander Shepard turned to Kirax. We didn't come here just to rescue survivors. We came to help you fight back. Kirax's 4 eyes widened. Your 3 ships against their fleet. It would be suicide. We have more ships coming, Shepard revealed. I sent a message to Earth when we first detected the battle signs, and our weapons can be modified to target their weaknesses. For the first time, hope showed on Kirax's face. Over the next few days, Dr. Hayes worked with Arcadian scientists to understand the crystal beings better. They discovered that the Dominion needed a specific rare metal found in the Arcadian planet's core to reproduce. They're not just mining, Dr. Hayes explained during a briefing. They're harvesting material to create more of themselves. If they exhaust this planet, they'll move on to others. Could they eventually reach Earth? Shepard asked. Given enough time and resources, yes, she answered. They're expanding across this sector of space. Earth could be in danger within a century. The implications were clear. This wasn't just about saving the Arcadians anymore. It was about protecting Earth too. As they finished the briefing, alarms sounded throughout the base. The main screen showed 5 Dominion ships approaching the moon. They found us, Kirax said. Shepard watched the crystal ships grow larger on the screen. It was time to make a decision. Get our ships ready for launch, he ordered, and prepare to evacuate any Arcadians who want to leave. Washington looked concerned. Sir, we're outgunned. Shouldn't we wait for reinforcements? Shepard shook his head. Those ships are heading for the last Arcadian refuge. We can't wait. He turned to his communications officer. Olivia, send a message to Earth. Tell them. We have made contact. They need more than evacuation. Request permission to engage. The battle for the Arcadian system was about to begin, and humanity would fight alongside their new allies. The human fleet slowed as they entered the alien star system. Through the main viewport, they could see a blue-green planet surrounded by debris. Parts of the world glowed with fires visible even from space. Scan for life forms, Commander Shepard ordered. Dr. Hayes studied her instruments. I'm detecting survivors on the planet, but their numbers are small. There's also a larger group on the second moon. Security Chief Washington pointed to something else on the screen. Sir, look at those. Massive crystalline structures orbited the planet. They didn't move like ships, but rather like living things, their surfaces reflecting starlight in rainbow patterns. What are they? Shepard asked. Unknown, Dr. Hayes replied. But they're organic and inorganic at the same time. Some kind of silicon-based life form. They're giving off tremendous energy readings. Suddenly, Olivia Garcia called out from her station. "Commander, I'm picking up a transmission. It's in the same language as our distress signal." "Put it through," Shepard ordered. A voice crackled through the speakers. The words were strange, but the tone was unmistakable. Urgent, desperate. "Can you translate?" Shepard asked Olivia. She worked quickly at her console. Partial translation. "Unknown vessels. Identify. Dominion ships approach. They think we might be enemies." Shepard realized. "Send back a message. Tell them we're from Earth. We received their distress call." Olivia transmitted the message. For several tense minutes, there was no response. Then the voice returned, clearer this time. "Earth, you came. Too late. Too late for many. Hide. The crystal ones come." As if on cue, the sensors blared a warning. 3 of the crystalline entities had broken away from the others and were moving toward the human ships. "Battle stations," Shepard commanded. "Defensive positions only. Do not fire unless fired upon." The crew rushed to their positions. Weapons systems came online. The 3 human ships formed a protective triangle. "Sir," Washington said quietly, "if those things are hostile, we should strike first." Shepard shook his head. "We don't know enough yet. We need to understand the situation before we start shooting." The crystal entities approached slowly, scanning the human ships with beams of light. Olivia's console lit up again. "Commander, another transmission, but from a different source. It's coming from the moon base." This voice was different, stronger, more controlled. "Earth vessels. I am Karax, leader of the Arcadian Resistance. The crystalline Dominion ships are scanning you. When they finish, they will attack. You must move your ships to these coordinates immediately." A series of numbers appeared on their navigation screens. "Can we trust them?" Washington asked. "The original distress signal came from the Arcadians," Dr. Hayes said. "And those crystal things don't look friendly." Shepard made his decision. "Plot a course to those coordinates. Maximum speed." The human ships accelerated toward the moon. Behind them, the crystal entities began to move faster, closing the gap. "They're pursuing," Washington reported, "and charging weapons." The first blast hit the Hope's rear shields, causing the ship to shudder. "Return fire," Shepard ordered. "Target their central cores." The human ships fired their main weapons. Beams of concentrated energy struck the crystal entities. One of them cracked along its surface, but kept coming. "Their outer shells are incredibly strong," Dr. Hayes reported. "But there's a weakness at the center." Another blast rocked the Unity. Warning lights flashed across the bridge. "We can't take many more hits like that," Rodriguez warned from the pilot's seat. As they approached the moon, a hidden base came into view. Defense turrets emerged from the surface, firing at the pursuing crystal entities. "This is Karax." The voice came again. "Enter our shield perimeter. We will cover your approach." The human ships dived toward the moon base as energy weapons fired overhead. One of the crystal entities exploded in a shower of glittering fragments. The others pulled back, retreating to a safe distance. As the ships landed inside a massive hangar, Commander Shepard saw the aliens for the first time. They stood waiting, tall, blue-skinned beings with 4 eyes and markings that seemed to glow from within their skin. Humanity had made first contact, but they had also made their first enemies. Launch day arrived with clear skies and a sense of history in the making. Thousands gathered at viewing areas near the Kennedy Space Center. Millions more watched on screens around the world. The 3 ships, Unity, Defender, and Hope, stood tall on their launch pads, gleaming in the morning sun. Their new engines, powered by fusion technology that had been in development for decades, would allow them to reach speeds previously thought impossible. Commander Shepard took one last look at Earth before boarding the Unity. The blue planet seemed peaceful from here, its wars and divisions invisible from space. He wondered if he would ever see it again. "Final checks complete," reported his pilot, Maria Rodriguez. "All systems green." The countdown began. 10, 9, 8. Around the world, people held their breath. 7, 6, 5. In the Defender, Security Chief Washington checked his weapon one last time, a habit from his years in the Marines. 4, 3. Olivia Garcia, communications specialist aboard the Hope, closed her eyes and whispered a prayer. 2, 1. Liftoff. The three ships rose on pillars of flame, pushing against Earth's gravity with tremendous force. The crews felt the pressure against their bodies as the ships accelerated, breaking free of the atmosphere and entering the black void of space. Once in orbit, they engaged their fusion drives. The stars around them began to blur as the ships accelerated to speeds that would have seemed like science fiction just years before. Transit time to target. 4 months, announced Dr. Hayes, checking her instruments. The new engines are performing better than expected. The journey had begun. Life aboard the three ships quickly fell into a routine. The crews trained, studied, and prepared for whatever they might find. Despite the confined spaces, morale remained high. They were on a mission unlike any in human history. Olivia Garcia spent hours each day analyzing the alien message, searching for more clues about the beings who had sent it. "I think I'm making progress," she told Commander Shepard one day in the mess hall. "Their language has patterns similar to some Earth languages. There are words that keep appearing. Words for home, family, protect. They sound a lot like us," Shepard observed. "Maybe that's why they reached out to Earth specifically," Olivia suggested. "Maybe they detected our broadcasts and recognized something familiar." Meanwhile, Paul Washington put the Marine contingent through daily combat drills. "We don't know what kind of fighting we'll face," he reminded them. "So we prepare for everything." The soldiers practiced in simulated alien environments, developed tactics for low-gravity combat, and trained with weapons modified to work in space. At the 2-month mark, the small fleet passed the orbit of Neptune, moving faster than any human-made object ever had before. They were truly in deep space now, beyond any hope of quick rescue if something went wrong. As they approached the halfway point of their journey, the sensors picked up something unusual, energy signatures that didn't match any known cosmic phenomenon. "What are we looking at?" Commander Shepard asked Dr. Hayes as they studied the readings. "Energy weapons," she said quietly. "Massive ones. The signatures match what we'd expect from large-scale combat." The crew gathered around the screens, watching the distant flashes of light. "So the war is still going on," Shepard said. 12 years later, they're still fighting. "Or it could be the aftermath," Washington suggested. "The victors cleaning up." The question hung in the air. Were they on a rescue mission, or were they flying into a graveyard? And if the aliens who sent the message were still alive, what would humanity's arrival mean to them? As the ships continued their journey toward the distant star system, the crew prepared for first contact, and possibly for war. The United Nations Security Council chamber was packed. Representatives from every major nation sat in tense silence as Admiral Frank Carter stood at the podium. Behind him, a large screen showed enhanced images from the alien transmission. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began, his voice echoing in the quiet room. "What you are seeing is not a hoax or a misinterpretation. These beings, whoever they are, share remarkable biological similarities with humans." He pointed to the screen where one of the alien figures could be seen clearly. 2 arms, 2 legs, a head with 2 eyes. Different, but familiar. "Our best scientists believe they breathe oxygen and have DNA-like structures. They are more like us than not." The Russian representative leaned forward. "And you are certain they are asking for help?" "Yes," Admiral Carter nodded. "Our linguists have been working nonstop. The message repeats a clear distress pattern. They are under attack and facing extinction." The Chinese delegate raised her hand. "Why should we involve ourselves in an alien war? This could be a trap to lure us into revealing ourselves." Murmurs of agreement spread through the room. The British representative stood up. Or it could be our first chance to make contact with a friendly species. If we ignore this, what does that say about humanity? The debate grew heated. Some nations argued for isolation, saying Earth should protect itself first. Others pushed for immediate action, claiming a moral duty to help. President Karen Powell of the United States listened to all sides before stepping to the podium. The room fell silent. 12 years ago, someone reached out across the stars asking for help. They had no way of knowing if anyone would hear them or come to their aid. But they tried anyway because that's what intelligent life does when faced with destruction. It hopes. She paused, looking around the room. Today we have a choice. Do we turn away, or do we answer that call? I believe this moment will define our species for generations to come. After 3 days of intense debate, the vote was held. The decision: humanity would respond. Project Firestorm began immediately. 3 military spacecraft, originally designed for orbital defense, were converted into rescue vessels. Each ship was equipped with the most advanced weapon systems on Earth, alongside medical facilities and extra living quarters for potential refugees. The ships were named Unity, Defender, and Hope. Commander Alan Shepard, a decorated Navy veteran, was chosen to lead the mission aboard the Unity. I won't lie to you, Commander Shepard told the assembled crew during their first briefing. We have no idea what we're flying into. We're responding to a 12-year-old message. The situation may have changed completely. The crew members exchanged nervous glances. They were the best of the best: pilots, Marines, scientists, and doctors from around the world. But Shepard continued, if they're still out there fighting, if there's anyone left to save, we're going to find them. And if their enemies are still there. He paused. Well, they're about to learn that humans stand up for the little guy. A cheer went up from the Marines in the back row. Selection and training took 6 months. The crew learned to operate in zero gravity for extended periods. They studied the alien language and practiced first contact scenarios. Security Chief Paul Washington drilled the Marines on combat tactics for environments ranging from open space to alien cities. At night, many crew members looked up at the stars, wondering what waited for them 12 light years away. One evening, Commander Shepard found Dr. Linda Hayes, the mission's chief science officer, on the observation deck. Scared, he asked. Terrified, she admitted, but also ready. He nodded. That makes 2 of us. The launch date was set. As the crew made their final preparations, news channels worldwide covered nothing else. Some called it humanity's greatest achievement, others its biggest mistake. Either way, in 3 days, Earth would answer the call from the stars. Not with fear or hesitation, but with fire. Lily Nelson yawned as she stared at the flickering screens in front of her. The night shift at the SETI array in New Mexico was usually quiet. Too quiet. Most nights she just watched the computers sort through endless cosmic noise, hoping to find something, anything, that wasn't just random space static. She took a sip of lukewarm coffee and grimaced. 3 more hours until her shift ended. The large room hummed with the sound of cooling fans and computer processors. Outside, the massive radio dishes pointed silently at the stars. A small beep from her monitor made her sit up straight. One of the arrays had picked up an unusual pattern. Probably nothing, she thought. Usually it was just a satellite or some Earth-based interference. What have we got here? She muttered, typing commands to focus the array on the signal source. The pattern repeated. It wasn't random. It wasn't Earth-based. Lily's heart began to pound. She ran the standard checks. This wasn't a pulsar or any known cosmic phenomenon. The signal followed a clear mathematical sequence. Prime numbers, then what looked like the value of pi, followed by the golden ratio. Oh my God, she whispered. Her fingers trembled as she called her supervisor. John Miller answered on the 4th ring, his voice thick with sleep. This better be good, Nelson. It's 3 a.m. Sir, you need to see this. Now. 20 minutes later, John stood behind her chair, his face pale as they watched the signal change. The mathematical constants had given way to something else, a visual transmission, distorted but unmistakable. "Are those people?" John asked. "Not people. Not human," Lily replied. "But they're definitely intelligent beings." The grainy images showed humanoid creatures running, fighting. Their world seemed to be under attack by something the cameras couldn't clearly capture, just flashes of light and destruction. "We need to alert NASA and military intelligence," John said, reaching for the phone. "Wait," Lily pointed at the screen. "There's more." A series of numbers appeared, star coordinates. Then came symbols unlike anything in the mathematical sequence. "I think it's language," Lily said. "I think they're asking for help." By morning, the facility buzzed with activity. Government officials arrived by helicopter. Military personnel secured the building. Lily explained her findings over and over to different groups of serious-faced people. "The signal originated approximately 12 light-years away," she told them. "That means whatever is happening in these transmissions occurred 12 years ago." "Could it be a hoax?" asked a stern woman in a dark suit. "No," Lily said firmly. "We've confirmed it's coming from the coordinates provided, and the signal itself contains elements no human could fake. Quantum data compression methods we don't even understand yet." "So what exactly are they saying?" asked a military officer. A linguist named Dr. Ben Lewis stepped forward. "We've only begun analysis, but the repeated patterns suggest a distress call. One phrase appears multiple times." He pointed to a specific sequence. "Based on context and the imagery, we believe this translates roughly to 'please help us' or 'save us.'" The room fell silent. 12 years, someone finally said. "They could already be gone. Or they could still be fighting," Lily countered. "We don't know their lifespan or how long this conflict has been going on." But they reached out to whoever might be listening. They reached out to us. A general with gray hair and tired eyes studied the images. "Get me the president. This goes all the way up." As Lily watched them file out of the room, she turned back to the screen where the message played on a loop. Somewhere, 12 light-years away, someone had sent a cry for help into the darkness of space, and against all odds, humanity had heard it. She didn't know what would happen next, but she knew nothing would ever be the same again.